Once I'd had the surgery and just kind of coming to realization that I wasn't going to be able to do the rest of the tour, just wanted to put my head down and work as hard as I could to get back to, what I love. After the 3-month mark, I basically just started looking at the charts and chasing swells up and down the coast. It was like I was 10 years old again and just couldn't get enough of it. After a few months of surfing up and down the coast, I wanted to get the competitive juices flowing again. It had been quite some time since I'd competed, and what better way to do it than in front of my friends and family. So decided to enter an event in Toledo. Was fortunate enough to final in that event, so felt pretty good heading into Hawaii. Traveling to Hawaii is no easy feat from South Africa. It's basically on the other side of the world. There was a lot of hoops that we had to jump through being from South Africa with the new variant and things like that. We did the best we could and started the journey to Hawaii. Touching down in Hawaii, that's some of the best feeling I get all year. It's a place that I've become very comfortable over the last few years. A place that I own a home, and I've been spending a lot more time there, so it's just really good to be back. I think one of the things that really excite me about Hawaii, outside of incredible surf, is the fact that I can just hang and do really awesome things with my family. Drink coconuts, the beautiful sceneries, the swims and the things like that. With me having a new family, I really am taking advantage of it, and I'm enjoying every second. First day in Hawaii just was incredible. Woke up the next morning and it looked like the swell was up. Decided to head down to Pop, obviously Pop being the first event of the year. There was a super crowded lineup, so I wanted to get my waves in and get my experience and practice up. Nothing there.
So it's all in here?
All in like
Where do you feel it? It's more like on the side here?
Yeah, like here.
As
I was trying to kind of turn out the doggy door, there was a moment where the backwash hit and my toe flexed all the way backwards.
So I think if that's the case, we might just have to, we might just have to try to tape it up.
And see what we can do.
Yeah.
Turns out I had a fractured toe.
So it could be what they call a bipartite. Usually a bipartite doesn't quite look like that. So that's what.
At this point, it was just about how much can I bite the pain during the heats that I surf.
I
can't even believe it, bro. Like second surf, bro. Like, are you serious, bro? Fortunately for me, they weren't going to start on day one. I think they started on day 3 of the waiting period. So I had a few days for the swelling to come down. I ended up taping my toe up for my first heat. It was excruciatingly painful. The pain will be worse if you don't go and get the waves that you want, more so than the immediate pain that I had felt in my feet at that moment. And sure enough, I lucked into one of the best waves that I've ever caught pipeline. I think at that moment I just appreciated all the work that I'd put in up to that point, and was thankful that my toe was still hanging on. Going into Portugal, it's one of my favorite locations. I've got 3 seconds there. I just want to get there early and do a bit of preparation and test my toe out, see how it feels, and give it everything I've got.
The Institute of Positive Fashion presents the Future of Fashion Innovation Showcase. This is a curated set of world-leading UK-based innovators who are addressing key sustainability and responsible business challenges across fashion's complex value chain. The showcase will demonstrate how innovations are contributing to positive growth by addressing societal and environmental impacts across the industry. Innovators are working across each stage of the value chain to enable the growing global population to clothe and express ourselves, whilst ensuring equality without impacting the planet. The showcase will help to educate consumers by highlighting the true cost of a product, moving away from price as the only or main consideration. These innovators are leaders of change for the industry. This is the future of fashion.
My name is Alfredo, founder of Away to Mars. It is a tech fashion company based in London. We are an open source creative platform for designers all over the globe. I had the opportunity to see how wasteful the designing process is. There's this shift in thinking that we need to make from a one-person centric design process to an open source design process. Away to Mars put together designers with the support of artificial intelligence to achieve a better, more sustainable design and a final product. With that, we reduce wastage, all the consumer fabric, energy, time in the prototyping phase. I think the future of fashion is about collaborating.
Hi, my name is Edward Hill and I'm the Chief Science Officer at Matera. Cotton is an amazing natural material. It's renewable, recyclable, and the current issue has been that there are question marks around its production and its impact. We build resilient farm systems to empower more sustainable cotton supply chains. We do this through 2 key areas. The first is by better farm infrastructure. The second is by better farm management. And there are external levers that need to be brought into the conversation. And we really think that's where investment from the supply chain can help to help that farmer give you the impact that you want. They're doing an amazing job. It's just the tools that they have sometimes limit what they can really manage. We're trying to basically make a way that you can feel confident that when you buy that that cotton, it's being grown as ethically and as sustainably as possible.
I'm Orior Coney, I'm CEO for Colorifics. Colorifics developed a new way of dyeing fabric. Textile dyeing is one of the most impactful areas in the textile industry. We use an enormous amount of water and chemicals to dye our clothes, and almost 25% of all of the world's chemicals are used in the textile industry, and most of them in this stage. At Colorifics, what we do is we borrow information from nature. We look at the information, how a color is made. We modify microorganisms to produce, deposit, and fix dyes directly onto the fabric, changing not only the way we make color, but also how we apply it. We're minimizing the footprint from a water, chemicals, and energy perspective.
My name is Caroline Sibyl, and I work as the design director at Notpla. Notpla is on the mission to make packaging disappear by utilizing seaweed to replace single-use plastics. The negative environmental impact of the solutions that we have in packaging today are mainly plastic-based, and that material actually lasts for 700 years to break down. Notpla products can be used by replacing the plastics that are used to ship all of our fashion and items around. We created an alternative made from seaweed, which is naturally biodegradable and even edible. Within the fashion industry, there's a lot of different systems in place, so it's really important to work together with the different stakeholders that are in the value chain to make a positive change and to make these different solutions work together.
Hello, I'm Chris Archer-Brown and I'm CEO and co-founder of Monochain. It's a B2B service provider to provide fashion brands and retailers with a way to integrate resale into their own customers' journey. We're looking at being able to integrate solutions right the way through that cradle-to-cradle environment that really delivers a circular economy. One of the things that we do is manage that underlying process to allow the customer to be able to relist easily, and we provide our clients with the tools and the wherewithal to be able to integrate resale into their own customer journey. It's about really setting customers' expectations that when you finish with this item, don't discard it. Even one additional life significantly reduces its impact on the planet.
My name is Felix Winkler. I'm the co-founder and chief commercial officer of Reflaunt, which is a software company that helps brands and retailers get into the second-hand trade. We realized that brands and retailers were excluded from the second-hand trade and that they were missing out on a big opportunity. We bring resale as a service to brands and retailers so they can implement a resale solution in-house to allow their customers to be able to resell, donate or upcycle past purchases. Offering resale and upcycling to customers will facilitate the extension of the life cycle of those garments. And this is where you can measure the environmental impact of resale.
My name is Michael Wesley. I'm co-founder and chief operating officer of JBay. JBay produces high-end merino wool knitwear based on a regenerative supply chain. That means each of our garments has a negative carbon footprint, the first garment in the world to do so, without the need to offset. We have a bottom-up approach to supply chain, so we wanted to find first the suppliers that provide our raw materials, and then we wanted to find suppliers across the chain. We source only from regenerative farms, use 100% solar power along our supply chain, and use materials that are fully biodegradable. We source our wool from 3 regenerative farms in New Zealand, and it starts with the sheep. And therefore, all our customers, when they buy a sweater, also adopt the sheep, one of the farms that we source our wool from. And it's our way of trying to bring people back in touch and really understand that there is an impact and a story behind everything we wear.
Fashion for Good is a global innovation platform that was set up to drive sustainable innovation across the fashion supply chain. Supporting innovation will enable businesses and organizations to become more future-proof.
International Women's Day, I've come down to the HQ of the Jaguar TCS Racing Formula E team to talk to some of the team members that are really breaking the bias when it comes to women in motorsport. Jess! Sarah!
Hey Jess, you couldn't give me a lift, could you?
Absolutely I can. Christina!
Morning.
Nice! Can I give you a lift? So as a performance engineer, what are you doing? What's part of your job now that we are not racing?
We go through all of the data that we've collected through the race weekend and understand really what the car was doing and how we could help it to then try and go faster for the next event.
So Sarah,
Yes.
commercial project manager.
My job entails like two parts, long-term planning for the team, and then the other part is the short-term planning.
I develop like these applications and tools that simulate data.
So Jess, event management.
So it varies from starting right at that season launch all the way through to everything we do at races.
How did you end up doing what you do?
I definitely always knew. So I think maybe it was because I liked attending events as a teenager. I was like, I know, I'm gonna do a degree in events management.
I think I'd always been attracted to a business role, but I've always wanted to go into the kind of more premium end of the market, without a doubt.
From very early on, it kind of looked like something interesting to me. I didn't really have any other mentor or anything like this.
Yeah, I didn't really set out to work in motorsport, to be honest. So I did watch like Formula One on and off growing up. My grandma would always have the races on the weekend.
If I say to you breaking the bias, what does that mean for you?
Breaking the bias, to be honest, comes down to how we educate children, I think.
It could really help a lot if groups and companies were more diverse, right? So I think increasing diversity would be incredible and encourage people to speak up and maybe don't think that their views are probably the weird one or their opinion is wrong.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with being weird, because I feel like weird, especially in a development sense, can often move things forward.
I do actually think you gain confidence by just feeling that you know your topic, and I would stress to any woman out there, decide what discipline you want to be in and go learn it.
Automotive, I think honestly I didn't realise how male dominated it was until I came into it. But it didn't intimidate me. I've been really privileged in my role that I've never felt that. As I say, events were actually a more female-dominated team, but it's not on purpose, and we definitely would have male or female colleagues. So I think the balance can only improve.
You have been an amazing passenger.
Appreciate the lift. Bye.
Awesome. Have a good rest of the day.
See you soon.
See you later.
Bye, yes.
Doing what you love is important, but it might not be as important as doing something that matters. Cat & Cloud really got started with an idea that work could be better than it is. I used to work at the skate shop in the town where I grew up, and skating was basically my entire life. All of my social connections and everything I did revolved around skateboarding. And when I got hurt, I didn't want to work in the skate shop anymore because it was too painful to be around all of those things and not be able to participate. I needed a job, so I talked to my friend who worked down the street. He's like, dude, you hang out in the coffee shop all the time. Why don't you just come work here? It'll be totally chill. And I was like, huh, I always drank coffee, never thought about working in coffee. And I did, and immediately I was just bit by the espresso bug. I became incredibly enchanted about this mysterious brown liquid. Where did it come from? I don't know, and that was the beginning of it. Most people have somewhat of a dysfunctional relationship with the work that they do. Work is very transactional. You go to work, you put in your time, you get a paycheck, and that's the end of it. I'd worked at a couple different coffee shops that were really awesome. My current business partners at Cat & Cloud, we were all working there together, and we all loved working there. But there was this cultural piece that was missing, and really what the three of us all wanted was a little bit more creative freedom and to kind of tap into that idea of what could work be if we put a lot of focus on healthy workplace cultures and really investing into the employees that are along for the ride. Sustainability for us is putting back in more than you take out. And we like to do that culturally with our employees, with our leadership. We think the world would be better off if there were more businesses who operated within that framework. People are capable of amazing things. Like, I've seen people who are way younger than me doing way more than I was at that age, and I fucking love it. It's so cool. I didn't even know that I loved coffee. I landed in coffee by accident. All I know is if there's something that I connect with and if I feel empowered to do a good job within that thing, good things happen. If you're going forth in the world, I think it's really important that you put out your best effort, that you show up and give everything your all, because you never know what might happen. Like, I have my dream job and it's absolutely by accident. In general, skateboarders, you don't want to have these rules. Like, where do you want to skate? At the park? I guess I'd skate at the park, but I don't really want to skate at the park. Like, I'd rather be on the streets anywhere doing my own thing, and I don't care if I get kicked out. I don't care if I get yelled at. I don't care if somebody tries to fight me. And if you carry that attitude into the projects you do or the businesses you create, it's way fun, and you end up with something that nobody else would have created.
Porsche is teaming up with Pixar to create a special one-of-one car inspired by Sally Carrera.
It's fun because it's come full circle. We're inspired by the Porsche originally for the movie Cars, and now that character is inspiring a new physical car.
Sally Carrera in the film Cars was the 2002 911, and here we are 20 years later creating this new special project.
We get to play car designers when we worked on Cars. Now we're actually working with Porsche.
One of our goals was not to create a car that copy-paste from the original one, you know, with the eyes and the windscreen and the mouth. Instead, a real street-legal, drivable car.
This car is special, and whoever has this car will have something unique that will probably never happen again.
For this fundraiser and being the 20th anniversary for the car that we used in the film for Sally, it's a great opportunity to kind of use this time to give back in the spirit of Sally.
Durban is a thriving modern city in KwaZulu-Natal, home of the Zulu nation. Its people live a fast-paced 21st century life, yet many of them carry their traditions deep within them. I find that the traditional Zulu attire is so regal looking. Just the colors and the vibrancy, just beautiful. I traveled out of Durban to discover the Zulu way of life. I didn't realize how close the city is to the beautiful rolling hills of the heartland. I was excited to find people still living according to a proud, passionate heritage, not just respecting the old ways, but celebrating tradition joyously. I found people with an amazing zest for life, flashes of color everywhere. I was swept up in the drama, the noise, the excitement of it all. I mean, every photographer lives for those moments. It's something I'll never forget.
April 23rd, 1564.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
William Shakespeare is believed to have been born on this day in Stratford-upon-Avon, England. The poet and dramatist known as the Bard, one of the greats in world literature, dies on the same day 52 years later. 1998, James Earl Ray, confessed assassin of Martin Luther King Jr., dies at a Nashville hospital at age 70. Once behind bars, Ray later insisted he had been framed, alleging a conspiracy behind the killing of the civil rights leader. 1993.
We're going to go to the public and ask him not to eat grapes.
Labor leader Cesar Chavez dies in Arizona at age 66. Chavez, who organized migrant farm workers, led boycotts and strikes to secure bargaining agreements with growers. And 1954. Hank Aaron, with what's then the Milwaukee Braves, begins his long climb to becoming baseball's home run king. Aaron hits the first of 755 career home runs during a game against the St. Louis Cardinals. The Braves win that game 7-5. Today in history, April 23rd. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
Welcome back in our studio, and in today's news,